Good morning and welcome to Mufc Realist TV. This day of recording Monday and the day after the David Ornstein bomber and Fabrizio Romano bomber that Gyökeres is now in advanced talks with Arsenal. And here we have my best friend Alex. Arsenal.
You're pretty down yesterday, right?
Yeah, it came from nowhere. Like, you know, not even Fabrizio Romano knew it, not even Ornstein knew it. It just came basically. You know, how do you feel as a Man United, not Man United supporter, but an Arsenal supporter landing Gyökeres? I think he's a brilliant striker because you were linked to Sesko.
Yeah, it's been kind of like table tennis, isn't it, between Sesko and Gyökeres. Gyökeres, do I pronounce it correctly?
Gyökeres,
Gyökeres. But to be honest with you, I think he's the right player. He's proven. Yes, he's only done it in the Portuguese league. However, he's done it internationally, Champions League. He's, I remember watching him against it was Arsenal Porto. You could tell that this guy is a player. He's 27. He's proven. So I think we got the right player. But I get it from your perspective, even though you know that you probably were not. You didn't have a chance to get him.
But I mean, you guys had the budget. You had 300 million before sales to play around with. Well, Man United, arguably reporting had a chance for Gyökeres, and I put my hand up because I thought, with the connections of Ruben Amorim and everything else, but at the end of the day, the player is waiting. The player wants to play in the Premier League. He didn't say no to United. He didn't say no to Arsenal. Arsenal pounced in basically because the negotiations with RB Leipzig for Benjamin Sesko collapsed. Of course, Andrea Berta just went in, pulled the trigger. Spoke to during the Sunday yesterday, had 3 hours conversation with the agent and Gyökeres and agreed personal terms, apparently a 5-year contract. I think the salary was 200k a week.
I'm not sure what the salary was, but apparently we haven't got the here we go yet, right?
No,
so it's not 100%, but he said here we go soon.
Yeah.
So if he's going to do that, it's more or less.
Well, that's the crucial point. Now you have the hard task. I mean, you agreed the personal terms with the player. You agreed personal terms with Sesko. That's the way.
And he's taking he's taking a €2 million cut just to get the deal. To move fast.
But the point is that Berta agreed personal term with the Benjamin Sesko in January. Agreed personal terms now with the Gyökeres. But now comes the important part. That's why it's not here we go soon, because now the crucial part is. Now you have to negotiate with Verandas, which is the sporting director or the president of RB Leipzig. And rest assured, he wants to squeeze out as much money as possible. So, you got the agent fee, you got the sign-on bonus. And I don't think it's going to be here we go very soon. I think it's going to be a lengthy drag on.
We will see. We'll see. What's going to happen with Sesko? That's an interesting one, isn't it?
That's the next thing. Who's
going to pay 90 million for him?
Yeah, and that's the question for you, audience. Where do we go as Man United fans today? Obviously... We got Cunha over the line, but what's going on with Mbeumo? Are we still haggling for 5 million for 4 weeks? Now this has to be resolved, right? And where do we go as a striker? On the other hand, this gives us an opportunity now in the market to get rid of Sancho, Rashford, get the seller. And that's still what you say. Where is Sesko going to go now that Arsenal is advancing on Gyökeres? That means the Sesko is open, and then I look at Christopher Vevel, our recruitment director, used to work for RB Leipzig, so he must get a good deal for them in a way. But would Sesko be a good option for Man United? Yes, we've been linked to him before.
So but I think if you just get Bueno and you get Cunha, that's pretty strong as far as attacking.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
Not bad because
considering United haven't reached. They don't have any Champions League football. They don't even have any. What is the other one? The UEFA.
No, true. No, so it's on the league.
You're not a catch at the moment. So what the signings that you've done so far?
But the problem is that where do United go from here? We're trying to catch up. Arsenal is strengthening. You're going on the mad on the summer window. Liverpool is buying strong. City is buying strong. Newcastle. I mean, come on, what's going on here?
I think it's hard for United because you have so many players who are just redundant, and no one wants to take them because they are complainers, and you got your Rashfords, there's so many players for United. Who wants to go and buy them on those wages?
Yeah, true.
They've not shown any
But
passion.
from an outsider looking in, wouldn't you say that the most important in this window is to get rid of this bad apples first? Yeah, the deadwood first.
It's exactly what happened with Arsenal, six years ago when Arteta came in and we got rid of all the deadwood. People were like, what are you doing getting rid of Adebayor, not Adebayor, but Aubameyang. And you could see what he was trying to do. And, United need to emulate that kind of direction, I would say.
So where do you see us go from here? Like, we're getting Mbeumo over the line. We're getting Cunha. We already got Cunha. But in terms of striker, of course, we've been linked to Ollie Watkins. I don't think we're going to go for a 29-year-old that had a decent season last season. It's too old age profile. Would you see, an opportunity to pounce in on Sesko now? An opportunity to pounce in on Viktor Osimhen that still has 1 year left on his contract.
The question is...
with Napoli, right? That demands a 75 million release clause. Now, they can extend his contract with another year just to protect that release clause. But at the end of the day, it's a situation that they don't want Osimhen back. So I kind of feel like this plays right into United's hand in a way. They can always revisit, the Osimhen situation at the end of the window when they got all the business done and say, listen, let's do a deal for Osimhen potentially. Ozzy rejected Saudi, got big money there. Because he doesn't want to play for Saudi League. He wants to play in competition. He wants to play in Premier League. Could you see that happen? Could you see that an opportunity the clubs will then, jump in as a prey on the weakness of Napoli that kind of trying to get rid of Osimhen like we trying to get rid of Sancho and Rashford?
It depends on how much money you've got in the in the kitty. I think if you want to attract these type of players, you're going to have to pay significantly a lot more than probably Arsenal, because Arsenal's at this moment of time a much more desirable place to play.
Yeah,
Champions League football and whatnot. And
I agree. But that was kind of my point. That depends on where we are at the window. That was kind of what I referenced. It's like if we then revisit the striker at the end of the window, where we potentially focus now on getting rid of Rashford of this wage bill, Højlund, Sancho, Malacia, and all these deadwood players, free up the budget so you can actually go and get a midfielder, a striker, a goalkeeper.
Who have Man United sold so far?
Nobody.
And how many players do you need to sell?
Nobody.
How many players do you need to get rid of?
If we get rid of Sancho, Rashford, homegrown talent, 45 million, that's enough to get a striker and a midfielder, right? We are apparently getting rid of selling. Actually, Antonio Langa, that was a homegrown talent, is getting sold to Newcastle, and we get about 10 million. And that 10 million can be utilized for a goalkeeper. Yeah. So yesterday was a little bit of a frenzy within the club. I was part of the trade to say, where do we go from here? You were sitting the day before the announcement of Gyökeres to sort of complain as well, what are we doing? What are we doing in the market?
The problem with Man United is the type of profile player that you've been going for year after year that doesn't seem to work. Do you know what I mean? When Arteta came in, we bought some kind of unknown players, but they actually did quite big players. Before, it was little small utility players, creative players, but they didn't have any presence about them. So that was a bit of a direction change. So I think United need to. You're not going to be able to. I'm going to say you're not going to be able to, but it's going to be hard to.
It's going to be hard,
big players.
We're not in the Champions League at the moment, so it's going to be hard. But
and the narrative on United is pretty weak at the moment.
No, I kind of felt it yesterday because there's an internal banter to say Arsenal has always been the bridesmaid while United has been the groom. But I kind of feel that it's the opposite attracts right now. Now United's being the
man. It was never like that. It was never like that. It's just United have just gone down.
Yeah.
You've got to start from the bottom. I think just sign some decent players. You don't need to get superstars at the moment.
Yeah.
Just find hidden gems, but it's hard.
I think I'm not moaning, but I'm critical in a way that, Ineos, Omar Barada, Wilcox, come on. I get it that you don't want to be taken to the cleaner. Why are you sitting there 5 weeks negotiating for 5 million difference, like in a valuation? Just get the player in and move on to the next target. And I think that most United fans are tired of this long drag negotiations.
Yeah.
And that's why I looked at yesterday, Arsenal was just pouncing in. And a proper sporting director like Andrea Berta just lines up two different players to agree personal terms and then pulls the trigger. And that is exactly what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
So
is it still toxic, would you say, at United? Because this was the biggest issue.
Yeah.
I remember when we sold, Arsenal sold, what's his name, the Chilean player. What was his name? The
Piano
striker.
player, Sancho.
No,
Sanchez.
Sanchez.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable for Arsenal, and apparently when his first day he came to United, he said, "Oh my God, I just wanted to terminate the contract.
Yep.
Just felt so alien and whatnot." So if you've got that situation, like even look at Sancho, like he's gone to Chelsea, he's actually doing quite well.
Yeah.
The common denominator seems to be that every fucking player, irrespective of whether they're good or not good, they seem to just lose momentum and they don't deliver.
On the other hand, we are so far behind in organizational development. Like you look at Arsenal, and Arteta has been there 4 or 5 years. They have a proper structure. United is just getting a sporting structure before,
it's a family unity. You don't seem to have
I don't
that.
expect us to do anything next season in a way, but everything depends on what we are doing now. All eyes on Ineos at the moment. Pre-season starts today, players coming into training. I think the most important thing is now just to get rid of Rashford, get rid of Sancho, get rid of the bad apples.
Aubameyang is like Rashford, isn't it? I think when all egos.
Yeah.
Like, what has he actually ever? What's he done for United? His goal tally has been pretty average, isn't it, for a striker?
But from an Arsenal perspective, you're doing fine now. This is the new financial year. What do you think? Would you get Sesko? No. What else are we linked to? Madueke, you're going a lot of fans are saying no Madueke. Why are we helping Chelsea?
I feel we're 2 players away from winning the league. I would say that if we get Rodrigo and Eze.
And Eze.
I even think, actually, to be honest, I think if we get Eze, I'd be very, very happy. But if we you look at what City are doing, Liverpool are doing. To move that needle, I think you've got to have the volume. You've got to have depth.
And that is the point of my video today is where do we go from here as Man United fans? How are we closing this gap? We finished 15th in the league, and I'm not cry wolf here, panic station, but sitting here speaking to my best mate who's an Arsenal fan, he's over the moon because they're actually strengthening, right? Man United cannot play in the mid-table next season. We need to be in Europa League. And how are you going to do that?
So that's your expectations, yeah?
Yeah, we need to for the finances. We missed out on Leon Delap. We had hopes to get Gyökeres over the line because of the Amorim connection. Gyökeres never said no to Manchester United, but his preference is to play in the highest level. So whoever came in first and pounced in, opportunity. Berta did a smart thing. He said, okay, we got the money. Sesko's falling off the grid. Let's just go. Pull the trigger. Bam. Well, United was caught snoozing and waiting, trying to sell these players. It's been 5 weeks. We haven't sold one single soul. And that is critical.
There's about 5 weeks left till the Premier League
Yeah,
starts.
exactly. Right?
Then so 2 days ago, all the Arsenal fans were livid because we hadn't signed a striker, and now everything's changed. So things can change, and this all comes down to Manchester United and Arsenal fan base expectations, right? We have such high expectations.
But it comes down to, at the end of the day, guys, your opinion counts as well. Where do you see Man United? I know it's 6 weeks left of the transfer window and stuff like that. Is it too early days? But the proof will be in the pudding, I'm just expressing my concerns. It's always good to hear, an outsider looking in, being a rival and stuff like that,
I think don't panic. I think it's only, the 7th of July. I'd say give it another, couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then the panic will start to come in because you've got a couple of weeks before the season kicks off.
Yeah.
And we're playing you guys.
We're playing. Yeah, that's it.
First game of the season.
First game of the season playing Arsenal. Guys, so please leave your comment in the non-live comment section below. What do you think? Do you think that we are going to catch up? I think that we are going to see, here we go, Sancho coming out very soon. We have a very exclusive story with Alfredo Pedula coming out your way. Sancho looks like he's going to join Juventus, so stay tuned for that one. Rashford, it is advancing towards Barcelona now that Nico Williams' deal has crashed. Luis Diaz, Liverpool is not selling. They're pivoting towards Marcus Rashford. We know that Barcelona had 50 million to pay for both players. Don't let them come to United to say a loan with an option to buy. No. They have 50 million to burn. So let's do that, people. Guys, at the end of the day, do not forget to like and subscribe. This has been Alex Young from Arsenal. My brother. Pleasure. And this Mick Ruby on this morning in the backdrop of Bali.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, Bella. See you to the next time. Bye.